Hi everybody, Jessie here from JessieBanks.com and welcome back to another video. We're going to color up Bug Birgitta here from CC Designs using a no lines technique. I really have been into doing no lines coloring lately. This one is rather slow. I've only doubled the speed, so it's pretty close to the original speed, and I'm starting with my E13 marker and I'm going around and just mapping in where all of my darkest shadows will be. So my dropped shadow from where the hair overflows the face, underneath of her neck, the inside of her arms, things of that nature. Yeah, so we're just gonna go through and do those. I do find voicing over these videos where I do have where I've kept the speed a lot slower is a little more difficult because I'm not like racing the video in order to keep up to what I'm doing. So you might find a little bit more rambling. Which, depending on how you look at it, might not be a bad thing. So we're going to get those kneecaps blocked in and everything else, and that will be our darkest points for the entire image. I usually, so I'm hoping I do it now, I take a black multi-liner and I'm going to put in the eyes that were the artist drawn eyes. So I'm just tracing over those light stamped images. Sometimes when I do the skin, by the time I get to the end with the color of the ink, they're very difficult to see and they end up looking a little wonky. So I like to put them in now and then let them dry for a minute, and then when I color over them, they don't smudge or anything and they're already there. So it just makes my life a little bit simpler. I am going to start at the bottom now with my next color, and that's simply to let those eyes dry a little bit longer to make sure that they aren't going to smudge on me, because I've done that on this very image. Actually, this was round 2. So E11, and I'm going all the way back over top of everything I did with the E13 to start blending that out so that I get smooth transitions between my colors and we don't end up with a harsh line between every color. So I try and work fairly fast as to not let the alcohol dry too much on the paper. I do use Copic Express blending card. I know I don't say that on all of my videos, and I probably should. I've been coloring with this paper since I started, so sometimes I don't even think about it. It is the Copic branded paper, and I find that everything blends better on it personally. I do notice that people get beautiful blending on some other papers, and it seems to be like whatever you start with is what you should continue to color with, because you'll learn how to color on it. I know when I use Nina once in a while, if I'm doing ink blending in the background and stuff, I use a lot more ink in order to get everything to blend together really nicely, and I usually have to go over everything twice instead of once like I do on my Express It paper. So it all depends on what you're used to and what you learn with. I would suggest picking a paper you're comfortable with purchasing and sticking to it. I didn't know there was other options when I started, so I started with very expensive Copic paper, and I love it. So I buy about a ream of it a year. But it works. And then I added my cheeks now before I go in with my lightest color, because then my lightest color helps blend out those cheeks and I don't have to go over anything and worry about anything getting too dark or too washed out. A little bit of hiccups. So now I'm going on to the hair, and my hand is in the way. Like I said, I haven't filmed for a while, so I'm getting used to where I have to put my hands and how I have to hold the markers again. So I'm starting with E31, and I'm putting in my lightest color. So when I do my hair, I work backwards. I work from light to dark instead of dark to light, and that's so that my colors don't blend together and give me a smooth blend. I want the flicks of the hair in there as opposed to the nice smooth transitions between my darks and lights. So we're going to get everything mapped in here, and I do leave white in the hair. I don't color everything in. I like those bright highlights that I get with the white of the paper. Sometimes when I do dark hair, like if I do like a dark black or something like that, I will, my lightest point will be a gray instead of white, but 90% of the time I like to have that bright white highlight. So E33 is going to be my next color, and I'm just going over top of all of those same marks I made before, and I'm not pulling them out quite as far as I did the first time. And that's how I get those nice transitions of where the darkest points of the hair are and the lighter points of the hair go. So we're just doing nice little flicks and letting the marker do all of the work. It takes a little bit of time, and it takes a lot of practice. If you are new, don't feel bad if you can't get super fine flicks and anything like that. It does take Like I said, a lot of practice and a lot of time, but it's worth it in the end. And I've seen lots of artists that do smooth blending in hair and things of that nature, and they look fantastic too. This is just my personal preference as to how I like to do hair on the images I color. Especially when I do no lines coloring like this, because you get a lot more of a realistic-ish look at the end when you finish. So my hand is in the way and you can't see anything I'm doing right now. I will get better again. I was doing so good for a while there, and then my camera quit, and now it's like, oh look, I'm going to color this. Watch my hand. I used to be like, Jessie, keep your big hand out of the way. So I'm going to do the shoelaces on her shoes right now with the black. Again, so that I don't lose where they are supposed to go by the time I get finished. So I'm just tracing over the lines that I stamped and making them black instead of the other color. So I'm going to go in with some red here, and we're going to do her wings, and I'm using R05 for my darkest color. And then I jump all the way to an R02, which I do believe is the next one in that color family anyway, but it's just going to give me a little bit more of a transparent look using really, really light colors. Wow, this video is going, I apologize for the fact that 90% of this video you guys are looking at my hand, because apparently I forgot how to color while the camera is on. I will adjust that when I record again, and hopefully it will be better. R01. And we're just working on blending everything in. There you go, Jessie. Keep your hand out of the way. And R000, I do believe that is. I can't tell for sure from here. And I just finished coloring it in. So when that dries, that will lighten up a lot just because of how light the color is right now. You're seeing that the paper is actually wet, is what makes that look a little bit darker. So I'm going to do her socks with a couple real light W markers. And then we will start. I do believe then I go, oh, W1. I thought it was done. And then blend it all out with my W00. Okay, so I did use 3 markers on that. I wasn't sure. It's been a while since I filmed this. Now I'm going to go back to that same red combo because I forgot to do the little buttons on her ears. I mean, the little, the little antennas on her head, not the buttons on her ears. Wow, Jessie. Think before you speak, girly. So now I'm going to do her, I decided I wanted to do her shoes red as well, simply because I didn't want her shoes and her little dress to be the same color. So we're going to do those little antenna and those little shoes the same color as the wings. They will look a little bit different because I am not coloring them to be transparent. I'm coloring them to look as though they are a very light red. Finishing those up. This is the exact same combo that we used on the wings. And then we'll get into her shirt. This was a super fast image to color. Like I said, it's only sped up to 2 times the original speed, and it's like a 10-minute video. So it took me roughly 20 minutes to color this image from start to finish. But I love her. Birgitta is the sweetest. So I'm going in and I'm doing my yellows, and I'm beginning with an R23. I either use R23 or R24, usually is my darkest color when I do this yellow combo, and that's just because it's a little bit of a dirtier yellow. It's a YR, pardon me. It's a little bit of a dirtier yellow, so it creates a little bit more of a shadow in the image as opposed to just coming in with these bright yellows that I'm going to start with now. So Y17 is my next color, and just like everything else, we're slowly going to start blending that out. And I'm just working to give her a little bit of a roundedness on her dress, so that's why I'm doing darker around all of the outsides. So we're going to do Y15, Y13, and Y11. And that'll be it for the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this coloring. I will have a link to my Cards in Color Facebook page, my blog, and this image in the description box below. I hope you guys will leave a comment. Thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. And if you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you subscribed. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.